Welcome Libra and Libra cross watchers to your singles love read for February 2023. So thanks everyone for stopping by my channel today. I hope you guys have had a great week. Libra, you and Aquarius are a little bit late this week. I do apologize. As you can hear, my voice is not great, and I can only talk for so long before it's really unpleasant to do so. So we're going to get where you are, where you're headed, what's hidden or what you need to know, and then we're going to pick a different deck for the next love interest for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. So, where are you right now? We have the Four of Wands. That's kind of like, I feel like this is pretty big energy. I feel like you are, it almost feels like you're at a crossroads, but it's not one that's like stressful, right? It's like sometimes we have decisions that we have to make that can be really challenging. But I feel like the crossroads that you're at, it's almost like you're kind of at the fork in the road, but there's two things that are coming to you rather than you kind of having to make a choice here, if that makes sense. It actually feels like to you that there's something that's starting to really open up for you. And I feel like things that may have felt like barriers to this, whatever it is, before, I feel like those barriers, it's like either they, for whatever reason, they don't matter anymore, or they're not going to stop you. Or it's like, you know that if you wait just a little bit longer, there's going to be nothing supporting those barriers and you'll be able to kind of get through here. I feel like where this hope is coming from is actually a place of knowing that not only are you on the right path, but you're seeing progress forward on that path. You know what I mean? It's that moment where it's like you've been working for things and you've been seeing a little bit of progress, and then you get to this moment where it's like the progress that you're making forward, the momentum that you have gained, it's almost like it's unstoppable now. And there's a lot of like really positive, almost like affirming sort of energy that I'm getting from you, because it's like not only are you seeing the results of your labor, but I feel like you're also feeling the success that's come along with it, if that makes sense. So where is Libra headed? February 2023. Where's Libra headed? Already. So we have the, I'm going to spread this out a little, the Hierophant, the Six of Swords, and the High Priestess. So, I mean, there's always got to be somebody that's squawking away, right? We all know that. Whenever you're having success, there usually is somebody that's like, I could do it better. I could do this. I could do that. Blah, blah, blah. Right? However, I actually feel like you are pretty, I feel like either you don't know what they're saying, or like you don't know about I feel like you may not actually know that this person is talking some shiz about you. I feel like if you did hear them, or if you did know, I actually feel like you'd be pretty unbothered by it. And what's interesting is that I just want to say sometimes the tarot can make the energy really big so that we can pull the messages out. So please keep that in mind when I say this next thing. Do you have an arch nemesis, or somebody that like, oh, I just really hate that person? And I know we shouldn't do that because we should be evolved, but sometimes we do. If you don't have somebody like that, there's somebody that's jealous of you. It feels like they're jealous of you in the way that it's like, no matter what they do, from their perspective, you seem to get to win. You know what I mean? It's like Marsha and Jan sort of vibe, if you've ever seen the Brady Bunch. If you haven't, it's like everything always works out for Marsha, no matter what, right? And Jan would be like the person that things don't work out for, people aren't, terribly sympathetic to, very misunderstood. It actually feels like this person is taking out their feelings of being misunderstood, their feelings that I feel like they genuinely believe that no one is ever going to truly understand them. And they seem to be quite fixated on you when it comes to expressing that frustration. It does feel to a certain extent that they may have like, ugh, sorry, that's me being a bit judgmental. I feel like this person does it to the point now that it's almost like it's a knee-jerk reaction. It might not even be how they're genuinely feeling in the moment. I feel there's times where it's like they say crappy stuff about you, but it's not even because they're feeling that crappy type of way. I feel like they say that because they're used to being shizzy towards you. You know what I mean? It's not even a, there's times where it's not even about them being misunderstood. It's just that's how they react to things about you. So I'm just realizing I didn't put the light on behind the camera, so just give me a moment here. It's just easier for you guys to see the cards. There we go. So with the Six of Swords and the High Priestess here, I feel like whatever this person is saying, however it is, it's like they're trying to say like, that the only reason that you're successful is because you got, you got lucky, you got this, you got that. And it's like, even if somebody gets lucky, they still have to put in the work to keep it. They still have to put in the work to get there. You know what I mean? It's like this person just wants to minimize anything that you're doing. It's almost like if they can minimize what you've done and make it about luck, then they can be okay with the failures that they've had in their life that they didn't push through. You know what I mean? It's like if they assign it to like, oh, it wasn't that Libra worked hard or did this or did that. It's just, it was the luck of the draw. That's the only reason they got what they got. Then this person doesn't have to look at what they're doing, and then they can kind of like justify to themselves. I'm not so sure they're entirely aware that this is what they're doing. I feel like then they can justify to themselves why they haven't achieved the things that they've wanted. It's easier to think that people achieve it through handouts. When they're not getting where they want to go. I actually feel like all of the things that they're saying about you, I actually feel like it's hatred towards themselves that they're projecting onto you. So we have the Six of Swords and the High Priestess. I'm really getting quite strongly that whatever this person says or does, sorry, I'm actually just realizing that my camera's not dark. I apologize for the distraction. I feel with this combo that whatever this person is saying, everybody sees right through their shiz. You know what I mean? It's like as soon as somebody brings up Libra, this person pounces on them. They're going to talk shiz about you. They're going to this, they're going to that, right? It's like all somebody has to do is mention your name, and this High Priestess automatically knows this crow is going to step in and kind of be a bit of a DICK about it. You know what I mean? Like they just always have something to say. And I feel like you may have picked up on some vibes. You may actually fully know that this person does this. I'm not so sure that you know to what extent they do it, though. Regardless, I'm definitely feeling that nobody believes this person. I feel like when this person talks about you, nobody even listens to them anymore. And it's like then they think they have to talk louder and louder and louder, and it's just a waste of everyone's time. So I feel like you're going to keep going on your path. I'm going to be straight with you, Libra. If you don't already know that this person is doing this, I think it's going to hurt when you find out. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a hit. You know what I mean? It does feel like it may not be somebody that's part of your like daily life. But it definitely feels like it's somebody that's, it's a little out of left field. You know what I mean? It's one of those people where you're like, you know what? I don't think we've had any problems. So I don't understand where this is coming from with this person. And again, that's just kind of confirmation that what this person is projecting onto you doesn't have anything to do with you. You know what I mean? Like it's happening to you. It's coming at you. But it's not about you. It's not anything that you've done that would kind of aggravate this person or this or that. It's like, if it wasn't you, this person wouldn't. I feel like if it wasn't you, they wouldn't actually be as ridiculous about it. But I feel like the only reason that that's the case is actually because you have everything that this person wants. And the fact that you seem to just have it without working for it from their perspective, it just really, it's like they're jealous of you, but they can't help but admire you. It's a very complicated energy. It feels like it's somebody like they're going to talk shiz to people around you, but then when other people agree with them or kind of jump on that bandwagon, I feel like this person, not that they would defend you. I mean, they're, dealing with their own stuff or whatever. I was going to say they're toxic, actually. It's like they kind of can't help but have this admiration for you. So if somebody else was to say the same stuff that this person says, I actually feel like this person would be like, "Are you stupid? Like, do you see what they've done?" You know what I mean? It's a very it's a very, I want to say it's complicated, but it's like it's complicatedly simple. Actually, what they want is what you have. Actually, they wish that they would put in the work in their life to have what you've built for yourself. And I actually feel like what this person truly wants, this is just what I'm reading in the cards, okay? So don't get mad at me. I actually feel like if this person could be your best friend, they would. But because there's so much jealousy in there and so much feeling like they somehow got shortchanged and you got lucky, the reason that isn't happening is because of them. So what's hidden? What's hidden from Libra here? Page of Cups reversed with the Six of Wands at the bottom. I think we're actually going to put it over here. Actually, there. So, I'm gonna say something, and again, sometimes the tarot makes the messages a little bit bigger to pull them out. It's like maybe this person is your, they'll defend you, but they talk a lot of shiz, and I actually feel that if this person could take you down, they would feel really good about themselves. They would feel really effing good about being able to grind you into a dust if they could. It's like they would feel like they have somehow conquered, a bad habit that they've had for years. That's what it would feel like. Very victorious, very like self-affirming, and what's really awful about that to me anyway, as a, not even as a reader, just as a human, that this person that their goal here, it's like the hate that they have for themselves is being projected onto you. So if they were able to somehow kind of like knock you down a few pegs or make people see you differently, it's like they would have this really conflicted reaction. The human part of them would be like, I feel like a total jerk because I know how hard. It's like the logical part of them, excuse me, would say like, I know how hard Libra had to work to get there. I can't believe I just did that. And then this other kind of like ridiculous, entitled, immature part of them wants to kind of like revel in your failure. And I mean, it's like the definition of a frenemy is really the role that they want, right? It's like they want to be close enough to you to get some information so they can go and talk some shiz and whisper in the background. I do feel that this person, it's like if they were to find out that you were talking about them, they would feel so betrayed, right? It's like, I don't know who this person is or if they're kind of like an active person in your life. But Libra, they sound exhausting. And I'm not saying that to be crappy to this person. It's just like they're all over the map. You know what I mean? It's like they're this, they're that, they like you, they love you, they hate you, they're defending you, they're, putting you up on the chopping block. It's like, decide. It's almost like somebody that wants to be you, but I feel like they look at themselves as less than. So even if they had a chance to be you, they feel like they would fail. So it's like they've settled for just trying to, take pot shots at you here. This person's kind of a jerk. I'm going to be honest. It's like they want to look at themselves like there's some sort of altruistic something or another. But I actually think that they are. I'm not going to say it because it's a bunch of swear words, but I think you can. You're a smart bunch, Libra. I'm sure you can figure out what I was going to say. So can we get a clarifier? I was actually asking for this. Daughter or Page of Cups. So we got the Sun reversed. Like this person genuinely does not want you to be happy. And it's almost like they feel that if they're not being, from their perspective, okay, if they're not being given what you're being given, if they're not getting the chances that you're getting, and they can't have the life that you have, maybe they can't take that life away from you, but they sure as hell can make you unhappy. That's their kind of like what's in here for them when it comes to you. So I think we're going to, I'm just looking at which deck to use for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I'm just going to try to click over to mark just to timestamp things. Last time I turned the camera off, so I don't think I did that this time. Okay. Libra. Next love interest for Libra Sun. Came out really quickly. So we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. Look how sweet that is. And the Empress. Ooh, look at these cards. Right? So, with this combination, Libra, I actually feel like you may kind of take a bit of a detached energy to this person. I feel like they seem to be somebody that wants to get your attention. It's like they want to learn about you, maybe build a connection, but this isn't the kind of person that's going to try to, bamboozle you into anything. They're not going to push it on you. They're not going to come chase you. It's like they're going to make themselves known. They're going to make it known that they're, an option for you. Not an option in like, they're an option with that negative sort of thing. It's like they're letting you know that they're interested. I do feel to a certain extent that like with all of these pentacles here, it's like they're trying to put on display what they have to offer you. So make no mistake, this person is going to let you know that they like you. They're going to let you know what they can bring to the table and how they can kind of enrich your life. But then they're going to let you decide. And let me flesh that out a little bit. Sometimes people will kind of advertise themselves in this same way, and then they push and push and push and push, right? To kind of get with you. I feel like this person isn't like that. They do seem to have a little bit of, I want to say that it's like apprehension. It's not quite fear that you won't be interested, because obviously they're doing this because they do want you. But they're actually looking at the situation like you might just be a little bit too detached to, it's almost like they feel like you might not want a relationship right now. So it's like they're kind of going to throw their hat in the ring, or whatever that saying is. But part of them actually isn't expecting much of a response from you, because I actually feel like they are It's like they would like to explore something with you, but they're getting the vibe that you're not interested in, not just in them. It's like they're getting the vibe that you're not actually interested in dating anybody. So how will Libra Suns know that this is the person? We got the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Sun of Wands. Okay. Or sorry, Mother of Pentacles, but still. So I feel like you may have heard in the past that this person acts a certain type of way in a relationship, or maybe you just kind of got that vibe. And I feel like that's not a part of themselves that they share with everybody. It's like they do seem to be a high value type of person, right? It's like when they're in a connection with somebody, they do treat them really well, but they don't just hand that stuff out like candy. They don't give that part of themselves to everybody. I also feel here that part of us, it feels like a bit of a stopper here for you, is actually that you're not entirely sure that you want to get into a relationship. And this may not resonate for everybody, right? It's like, and the reason you're feeling that way is that you're not really sure you want to pour into somebody else. And I feel like they see that and they know that. And I feel like that's why they're holding back a little bit. That's why they're not pushing, or almost want to say like, or hitting on you the way that they would normally. It's because they don't want you to feel pressured into it. And it's like they want you to give them love freely, not because you have been, almost like bamboozled or pressured or pushed into it. And now that's not to say that someone can pressure you into loving them, right? And it's not a statement on whether your resolve is weak or strong. It's just they don't want love if it's something that isn't natural, if that makes sense. So just gonna mark the timestamp here 1 second. So for those of you with a Libra Moon, guys, we're ready to talk. Ooh, so we have the Magician, wow, with the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. So High Priestess twice for you guys here. So the Magician, as we know, talks about manifesting, right? And I actually feel, Libra, you're going to find this person extraordinarily intriguing. They might be into spirituality. If it's not that, it's like they seem to have some information about something that is relatively obscure. It's like maybe they've studied philosophy or Socrates or something like that. And they seem to be able to have these conversations that it's like they talk about life in general. And it's almost like they seem to kind of go off on like a tangent a little bit, and then they circle back around, and it's almost like then they kind of, this might sound strange, I feel like they'll talk about a certain topic from this point of view, and then they'll talk about the same topic from the opposite point of view. And it's like because they present all like the pro and con information, it's almost like they can have an entire conversation and you may feel just as neutral about that topic as you did when the conversation started, because I feel like they can kind of see situations from every angle. I do feel that this person seems to have a couple of gifts for you, but wait, it doesn't actually feel like they're 3D, that this person's going to give you an actual gift. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but that's not what I'm seeing in the cards here. What I'm seeing is actually this person has a couple of like thought gifts to give you, if that makes sense. It might not. By thought gifts, it's like they seem to have a couple of little nuggets of wisdom that stick with you. Sorry, I might sneeze soon. I'll try to warn you if I am. I feel like they are a lot more masterful and a lot more in control. You know what I mean? It's like this is the kind of person that almost like very stoic but very powerful. I'm kind of getting like Tywin Lannister vibes, but the kindest version of him. Almost like when he would talk to Tommen, or the the grandkids, and he would be more of like wanting to teach and lead and guide, as opposed to, you know, the way he spoke to his children, which seemed to be, you know, maybe not the nicest. Anyway, this person seems to be, I'm going to be straight with you, I feel like they spend so much time up in their head. They're so cerebral. That might be where their power and their strength comes from. But I feel like when it comes to emotional stuff, this person, it's like they've turned that faucet off. Excuse me. They may have or express those feelings behind closed doors, but I feel like they are very detached emotionally. Maybe that's why they studied that philosophy and those sorts of like thought processes, because I feel like, number one, it probably really spoke to them because they're so intellectual or academic or whatever that term would be. But it also allowed them to turn away from their emotions because they were exploring the mind rather than the heart. So we're just going to pull a card for them. How will Libra know? The Knight of Wands. So we have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, and I do want to say we have the Knight of Wands at the bottom here. Libra, I'm not telling you what to do. This is just what I'm seeing in the cards with the energy as of right now. I don't really see you going for this person. And it actually is because it's like this person is okay, or they like to make intellectual connections, but it's like that's as far as it goes. And it's almost like, it may not be immature necessarily, but it definitely feels like this person's approach to love is very stunted. And it's almost like you end up seeing this connection as, you know, if this person was connected to their heart as well, they'd be effing amazing, like, mwah, it would be awesome. But because that's stunted in them, it's like, it's almost like you have this really great intellectual connection with this person, and then you're like, oh wow, I really want to get to know them more. I can't imagine, you know, what's deeper as you get further into it. And it's like, and you get further into it, and it's just a dark, empty room. And that's not to say that this person doesn't have emotions, but when it comes to expressing or sharing those with other people, they turned that off a long time ago. And I feel like because they set the bar so high with the intellectual stimulation they gave you, when the emotional falls flat, it's like, excuse me, it's almost like you're running full force, and then something, like you run into a brick wall or something, kind of it makes it a dead stop. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, it just really seems to be, it seems almost jarring to you. So I'm just actually going to mark the timestamp 1 second here. Sorry about that. So for those of you with a rising Libra, 2 of Swords, 3 of Swords, goodness. Okay. I feel like this person is actually coming out of a hard time. Excuse me. Sometimes the 2 of Swords talks about somebody that is kind of choosing not to see something. But with this combination here, I actually feel like this person doesn't want to acknowledge the attraction or whatever. It's like they might feel it, but for whatever reason, they can't really turn towards it, because I feel like they, it's almost like either they're expecting a betrayal, you know, that sounds strange, or it's like they're coming off the heels of a betrayal and they are uber defensive. You know what I mean? It's like they're so defensive, they don't even want to say hi when they're out, you know, for a walk, or be cordial with the, you know, for example, if you're in line at the grocery store or whatever, it's like they don't want to say hi to the cashier. They don't want to, it's like they just don't want to associate with humans right now. And obviously, okay, obviously anything like that would be coming from a place of real hurt. I feel like to a certain extent, this person, um, whatever this betrayal was, I feel like it actually caused them to stop believing in something. It doesn't necessarily feel that they no longer believe in love. It could, of course it might be different for everybody. What I'm seeing here is that it actually could be that this person no longer believes that they will have love. Not that love doesn't exist, just that it isn't something that's for them. I don't know why they're coming through as your next love interest. That's a little peculiar, but we'll dig into that. I also feel that, I mean, there is something that this person isn't seeing, right? And it's actually that they're punished, that they're hurting themselves at this point. And it's too bad because I feel like part of them doesn't realize what they're doing to themselves, and part of them does. And it's almost like they seem to have made some sort of decision with finality. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just going to grab a drink here. So I just feel like this person seems to be quite interested in you. They see you as somebody that's trustworthy. It's almost like meeting you and kind of getting to know you makes them be like, oh, maybe I don't have to be alone forever. I am kind of seeing though that it's like you can see by the way this person moves, the way they talk, the way they act, that they've been hurt before. And I feel like you actually may see it as, not only have they been hurt before, but that it's, and this isn't a statement, it's not to be crappy to this person, because sometimes what I'm about to say can sound really almost like forceful to somebody, but it's like and Libra, this isn't the cards telling you this. This is what I'm seeing you're looking at it like, right? So it's like this person is going to have to heal themselves because you're not a rehab center for people who are brokenhearted. That doesn't mean you won't be supportive and kind and loving and all those sorts of things, but it's like you can't do the healing for them, and you know that. And I feel like when it comes to this person, you may be open to a relationship, but I feel like for a certain period of time, it feels really one-sided. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. I think I'm just going to get another drink of water. 1 second here. Okay. So the cards are talking about how it's one-sided. I feel at first the connection between the two of you, it's like you may feel like it's more one-sided, that you're giving and kind of listening and helping and those sorts of things. And it's like, that may be the case, but I actually feel like this person's sharing everything they're sharing with you because I feel like they may see part of themselves in you and they're doing it to teach you what not to do rather than wanting to vent. I actually feel that it's like there's times where this person is more open with you than they would be with most people. And I feel like those may be the times where it's like shortly after, or you might even physically see this person kind of clamp up after they've opened up to you. And I'm going to be honest here. And of course, it's your own decision. I feel like this kind of romantic whatever, I feel like you lose interest if you had any in the first place. I feel like it turns into somebody that you really care about and that really cares about you, but it does feel like at the end of the day that there's almost this like unspoken energy between the two of you that the romantic side of this relationship is probably not going to get explored. So I'm sorry to say that, because I'm sure that may not be what you want to hear. Can we get a clarifier on this 2 and 3 of Swords person, please? Four of Swords. Like, that's such a... Then we have the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So sometimes people come into our lives to stay and play a certain type of role, and other times it's a very different experience. And I feel like you may be the person that helps this one to trust again, and not because you're jumping through hoops or you're fixing them or you're this or you're that. It's just by being who you are. I feel like you teach this person that it's safe to be in a relationship again, and that doesn't even mean romantic. It's just you kind of, by being yourself, you show this person that there are still people in the world that are real. Doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you always make the right choices. But if you make a choice that crosses a boundary or inadvertently hurts somebody, you take responsibility, you apologize, and you don't do it again. And I feel like it seems to be a really big relief to this person that there's still people like you in the world, because I feel like they felt very alone. And I feel like this may not resonate for everyone. I actually feel like they had started to contemplate turning themselves into a bit of a jerk. I'm hearing like a bit of an a-hole. Because it's almost like they were looking at it like, well, if this is the way the world operates, it's not really what they wanted to do. It wasn't a goal for them, but if that's how the world is going to work, then they're going to, they're going to play that game if they have to. And I feel like in you, they actually see somebody who is, excuse me, who has had some success in whatever capacity. But it's like they see that actually you can be somebody of, like a good person with a healthy, good moral character, I want to say, but that doesn't even sound like anyway, it doesn't sound like a proper sentence to me. They just see in you doing what you're doing and not kind of like lowering yourself to getting into, arguments or petty anything with anybody. They just kind of see that like there are going to be people like them in the world. I feel like for this person, they don't really want to let you go. And even if it's like friends, they'll always want to kind of keep the communication lines open between the two of you. And I feel like they actually seem to be somebody that you really come to appreciate. I feel like when you get to know them, they actually are somebody that's really funny, really vulnerable. It's almost like there's this whole other side to them that nobody else gets to see. And I feel like you know that side of them. And it's kind of like they may act really standoffish to other people in whatever they do. But I feel like you might find that a little bit comical, because it's like if people knew what a gold mine this person was, they wouldn't be, it's like a lot more people would fight to get close to them. So for those of you, I'm just going to write the timestamp here. Sorry, I know that's probably gross. Okay, so for those of you with a Libra, Venus and Libra, we have the Two of Wands with the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. So I feel like this is somebody that's, they seem to have a little bit of a take it or leave it type attitude. I feel like there's someone that is very matter of fact. They look at things like there's no gray area to this person. It's like either something's this or it's this. And I feel like even if you were to kind of bring into this person's awareness, like, well, you could actually look at it this way, and then the opposite ends of the spectrum are combined, and like now there's this gray area. I feel like this person would be like, well, no, because this, and that would put this into that category and that into that category. So it's like they just are either completely unwilling, or they're able to argue, argue their point, debate their point, discuss their point well enough that it's like, well, they do make logical sense with what they're saying. You know that it's almost that energy of somebody trying to make a plan for their business, assuming that there isn't going to be any human error, right? Or it's like, or they want to build a factory, assuming that every worker is going to have the same efficiency every moment of every day of their shift, right? So it's like they just kind of are very structured and systematic, and it's almost like if somebody even calls this person out and is like, well, but you did this, and they really hate when people point out the fact that they're excuse me human, or like inherently flawed like the rest of us, right? It's like they don't want to look at that being a possibility. I'm also getting that this person is a bit of a perfectionist. I feel like they don't actually take on everything that they're capable of because they get so involved in the minute details of what they are doing that it's like they kind of lose sight of what they were actually working towards. It's like they're too detail oriented. You know what I mean? For example, if they're decorating a house and they need to pick out furniture and paint and whatever else, you know what I mean? It's like they might spend 4 days on what type of curtains for one room because it's like they're obsessing about patterns and fabric and colors and whatever else. So that might not be the greatest example, but I just feel like this person just gets caught up in all the details. Excuse me. For example, if they're building like an Excel spreadsheet for something, instead of focusing on the spreadsheet and getting that done and moving on, I feel like they would spend 40 minutes on what type of font they want to use. It's that kind of an energy. And I feel like you really see through this person that it's like that sort of behavior is really their insecurity talking. And I feel like, sorry, I'm not really sure if I'm going to sneeze or not. 1 second. I feel like you really kind of want to help this person. And not in the way that like, oh, you're going to run in and save them and whatever. I feel more that it's like you kind of want to gently show this person that they don't have, that like, you know, the whole world isn't going to fall apart if they don't pick out the right font. You know what I mean? It's like, let's say, for example, this person's applying for a job and they have their resume put together and they're going to, it's like if they don't get the job, they'll assume that it's because they chose the wrong font. Or their email went in 2 minutes later than they wanted it to go in. You know what I mean? It's like they fixate on these small details and it's like, well, actually, you're probably overqualified for that job. They know they can't pay you. They know they can't keep you, so they don't even want to bother interviewing you. It's that kind of an energy. And I feel like there's a real strength that this person brings. I feel like this person has like almost like an iron will, a very sharp mind. This person is very, for somebody that is kind of gets caught up in the details, the strength of that is that they see everything. It's like if 2 people are over here and one of them says something crappy, let's say about you, it's like this one's going to see it. They could be talking to you and facing you over here, and there's this kind of nonsense going over here, and they're going to see it. It's like they see when people turn around to check them out. They see when, excuse me, I'm hearing, and please, please, please be careful if you're going out, but I'm hearing that they would see if someone was putting something in somebody's drink. So, of course, I hope that that's actually for no one. But, you know, if you're going out this weekend, just keep a close eye on it. Anyway, And again, that may not be for everybody, but I feel like if that comes through, it's probably an important warning for someone. But anyway, I feel like this is somebody that is, it's like they have really strong morals and values and boundaries. And I feel like they're somebody that it's almost like they're able to act in a compassionate way. It's like they understand if someone's suffering and that person needs a bit of extra softness. But I feel like when somebody outwardly expresses that they're feeling sorrow or they're feeling sad and they have kind of an emotional, let's say someone's crying, it's like this person understands that what that person needs is compassion. But I feel like they do not understand how that person could come to a place where they would display that kind of emotion in public. So I feel like we're going to pull a card for like what this person's attitude is towards you, what the connection starts off as between the two of you. Excuse me. Page of Swords. We have the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which, oh, we do have the Six of Swords here as well. So the Page of Swords, or it says daughter, but it's the page. Excuse me. My apologies. So the Page of Swords to me as a reader usually talks about the cold, hard truth. And I actually feel like the reason the two of you connect, and now that, listen, that doesn't mean that the two of you get into a full-blown relationship, because number one, that's up to the two of you and the choices that you make at the time. But I feel like the reason that the two of you kind of do have this, excuse me, I'm just going to get some water. Sorry. It's actually because this person comes in and is brutally honest with you in a time when you kind of don't know who to trust or where to go. And I feel like you know that they're honest because it's like they point out, it's like they tell you the truth about what's wrong and they also tell you the truth about what's right. So it's like when this person gives a compliment, it means something because they don't just hand that stuff out all, willy-nilly. Like there's somebody that is brutally honest. It's like if you ask this person what your hair looked like and it looked like garbage, they'd tell you it would, like, that haircut looks really bad. You probably shouldn't have come to work looking that way. You know what I mean? And it's like they might kind of throw in like, and it looks like you took your suit out of a dumpster. They does feel like they are really blunt and sometimes can be maybe not the nicest. And I feel like you may find their approach to honesty a bit grating, a bit abrasive sometimes. But I feel like knowing where you stand with this person seems to be quite appealing to you. I feel like for a certain, or like to a certain extent, you may have a little bit of a hard time trusting this person because they seem so different from anybody that you've ever met that like you're not really sure. Excuse me, I'm going to cough again. Sorry guys. So they seem to, how do I say this? You're not so sure that you can trust them because they're unlike anybody you've ever met before. And that's not that you can't get a good read on them. It's just, sometimes you meet people and like, oh, you remind me of so-and-so that I know and da-da-da-da-da. This is a one-off. This person is kind of an anomaly when it comes to their personality and how they approach things. It's very, very matter of fact. I'm kind of getting that, like, they don't struggle with feeling emotions. And it's not necessarily that they struggle with kind of expressing them in public. They just don't see any point in it. It's like if this person is hurting, they're going to go inward. They're going to take care of it. They're going to figure out where it is. I feel like to a certain extent they ignore it for a while until it's big enough that it's causing a problem for them, and then they deal with it. So I think I'll leave it there, Libra. I think my throat is about to kind of poop out on me here. So if this reading resonated, I hope it was helpful and brought you some clarity. If you'd like a private reading with me, my email is below in the description box. I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I'm so enjoying this channel, and I'm so grateful that the readings are resonating with you guys. If you're new here, I upload on Mondays and Thursdays, Sundays and Thursdays. Apologies. And I do have kind of a bonus read coming out for Valentine's Day next week. So if you celebrate that, please keep an eye out for it if you want to. And we'll see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.